Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my mini embroidery series. In this series I show you how I made the embroidery on this tote bag. So last week I showed you part 1 where I showed how I made the flowers, and I will link that up above in the cards and below in the description, so please watch that if you're interested. And in this episode I'm going to show you how I made these leaves and these and those. They are all really simple techniques, so let's get into it. For the first leaf I just started by sketching out the simple pattern of where I wanted it. Then you bring in the string from the back, you pull it through like this. Just pull the loop a little smaller, and then you can pull the needle through the loop and back into the fabric. And by doing this you get a kind of crochet-ish look. And then for the next stitch you're just going to go into the last hole you made, then outside out of the fabric again and through the loop. And by repeating this you just get this really nice crochet look. And I'm just going to keep repeating that, just going inside the last loop again and going all around the outside of the leaf. When I had gone all around, I also did the same stitch in the middle and just went from the bottom to the top of the leaf. And then when that's all done, you're going to go inside the fabric again and you're going to come out on the sides. And now we're going to make like the middle lines of the leaf. I have no idea what they're called. You're just going to go underneath one of the stitches in the middle. So you're not going to go through the fabric, just underneath the stitch. And then you're going to go in the fabric. Well, you're going to pull that through. And then you're going to go in the fabric on the other side and just come out a little bit below. And then you're just going to repeat that, going from one side to the other and back. And by doing this you just create a nice leaf pattern, and it is really easy to do as well. I just repeated that for the entire leaf, and then at the end I did the same, but instead of going through the middle I just went like behind the petal by just going inside the fabric and out again, so it seemed like the leaf was behind the petal. So for this next technique you just start the exact same way by making one of those stitches that we made in the last leaf as well. Just going to pull that through. And then you're going to make another stitch that reaches till the side of the leaf. So the first part is a bit of the same, even though I did make the second stitch a little larger than the first. Okay, what you're going to do now is you're going to go to the middle of the leaf and just push your needle through the fabric and just get it out again on the side of the leaf, but a little bit to the left. If it makes any sense, but by doing this we're just going to create this sort of leafish pattern, which I think looks really cool. And you're just going to repeat that. So now we're going to go to the middle again, so all the parts start from the same point in the middle. And you're just going to go along the edge of the leaf every time. So the stitches get bigger every time because they reach further to the end of the leaf. So yeah, you just repeat that going all the way around. Sometimes the string got a little bit irritating, but you need to pull it back sometimes to make sure it stays in the right shape. But once it's secured, you're fine. Then I did the same but to the other side. So I started on the other bottom and I just worked up to the top again until the entire leaf was full. And I really like how this technique looks. I think it's a really cool leaf. I think I prefer this more than the other one, but I will let you compare. So for this technique I just started with the stem, and for this I used the same crochet stitch that I used in the first leaf. So just going around the stem with that. Then I got started on the leaves by just pulling the string back in from the back again. But this time I'm starting on the top of the leaf. Then I'm going to stitch one stitch to the middle, and I'm going to pull that through and just come in again a little left from the first stitch, like following the line of the leaf. And it's kind of hard to explain, but you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to go back into the fabric a little right from the bottom of the first stitch, which sounds really confusing, but you'll see. Now I'm going to go in left from the top of the first stitch. I mean right from the top of the first stitch, and left to the bottom of the first stitch. So you're going to alternate between right and left, and you're going to kind of, it has something like of braiding, like just going over the middle and alternating between going right and left. And this leaves you with a really nice pattern that I think looks quite like a real leaf, and at least looks really nice. This makes like a little bit of a thinner, longer leaf, but I think it's a really nice look as well. And I made another one of those, a little one, and a really tiny one next to the rose. So now for the last technique, for the last one, I'm going to go start with one stitch again and going in to the left of the top of the first stitch. Just pulling that through right now. Then I'm going to go in on the right of the top of the first stitch, and then to the bottom of the first stitch. You can see what I'm doing. I'm going to pull that through and then pull it inside of the loop that you just made. And then you're going to secure that loop by going back into the fabric in the middle. And then you're going to go to the left side again. And you might already be able to see where this is going, because you're just going to keep repeating that. So now you're on the left again. You can go back into the right and to the middle. And you're just creating all these little loops that lay above each other and create a leaf. And I think this looks really cool as well. It's really similar to the last technique. It looks almost the same, but there are some slight differences. So I just repeated that a few times, making some leaves, and I just connected them with simple one stitches. I didn't do anything really special there. But I really like this technique as well because it's just so easy and quick, but it looks kind of cool. Oh, yeah, there's like one more technique, but this isn't a real one, because what I'm using for this is again the lazy daisy stitch that I used a bunch of times in the last video. So if you want to go have a more in-depth tutorial, you can watch the last video that I linked above and beneath. But I think this is just a really easy way to make little leaves. I think it's really cool. For the stitches in between the leaves, I didn't make them right on top of each other, but a little bit like alternating, which made a kind of stem shape. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Watch part 1 if you haven't yet, and maybe consider subscribing if you want to see more like this. Bye!